Gervonta, he fights December 5th, Showtime pay-per-view. The night before is Devin Haney here in Vegas against Jojo Diaz. And then even a week before that, Tiafimo. But you had some choice words for Eddie Hearn the other day in that press conference.
Man, because Eddie Hearn, he's the biggest bullshitter in the entire sport. Man, and Bob Arum will tell you that. I'm not the only one that feels that way. He's full of shit. It's like, on one hand, I get it. He's a good promoter. No knocking that. He's a good, but he's also full of shit. He'll say anything that sounds good, but I see through the bullshit, and guys like Bob see through the bullshit. He's a guy that talks a lot. He's a loudmouth promoter, who, in my eyes, he wants to be seen before the fighter. And he had made a comment that he was going to throw Devin Haney's name in a hat. What fucking hat are you throwing Devin Haney's name in? It ain't no hats to throw nothing in here. We're running a fucking business. You fucking idiot. But all that's just cap. All that's just bullshit to appease, these trolls out here and some of these fans who listen to that bullshit. For starters, let's make it make some sense. Okay, Devin Haney is one of the top lightweights in the entire world. Mm-hmm. Okay, Bill Haney is somebody, his dad, somebody who I have a tremendous amount of respect for, who understands business, who he definitely understands business a lot more than he did 3 years ago, because he's got both feet in the game, and again, he's made some very smart decisions with Devin forming his own company, Devin being his own boss. I respect that all day, and they getting money. Mm-hmm. They getting money, and me personally, and Floyd feels the same way. I don't give a damn what fighter is out there. I want to see all the fighters win. Floyd has set the table. And that's why all the fighters should be thanking him, because he's the reason why these fighters are making the kind of money that they're making today. And as it relates to that, so I respect what Devin's been, doing. And actually, when you break it down, Devin, out of all the lightweights out there in the entire world, Devin makes more money than all the lightweights that are out there in the entire world, with the exception of Tank Davis. More than the unified champion, the other guy who is, his pops is delusional, and I'll get to him in a second. So Devin is doing his thing. Okay, so let me get this straight. We're 4 weeks out from a big pay-per-view fight. Our guy falls out, and you talking about literally throwing Devin Haney in there with the most dangerous fighter in the entire world. And guess who said that? Bill Haney himself, on the record, has said this, and he'll tell anybody that, and he's telling the truth. Tank Davis is one of the most dangerous fighters in the world, and he would probably be the most dangerous fighter that Devin would be facing. Mm-hmm. So you're going to have 4 weeks preparation to fight a left-hander? Does that make any sense? You need more than 4 weeks to fight Tank Davis. And guess what? If we were fighting Devin Haney, we would need more than 4 weeks too. Devin Haney's one of the top fighters out there. I'm going to give him his props. But that fight is not ready yet. It's not ready yet. And that's to no fault of Devin Haney. I don't blame Devin Haney for none of it. Devin Haney's working hard. He's doing the things he's supposed to do. He want to fight the top fighters that are out there. And if it probably was up to Devin, because fighters, that's their mentality. You know what I mean? Tank wouldn't give a damn. Tank wants to fight all these guys. Mm-hmm. But he can't fight them all in the same night. This is a business we're running. And at the end of the day, you got to be able to bring something to the table, and because that's not a big fight right now. Anybody who fights, anybody from our side, anybody who fights Tank Davis, that's the biggest fight of their life. Because Tank, he's dictating everything. And what I mean by that, look at the revenue Tank is generating. And it does matter. Because we're running a fucking business. I repeat, we're running a fucking business. Devin Haney is making in upwards of over $3 million a fight. Ain't no secret. Ain't no secret. He getting it. Okay. Who the fuck is gonna pay him? That's not a big fight right now.
Yeah, not yet. Will be.
He's gonna want more. He's gonna want more than what he's making. Right?
Because when you fight,
how is that happening? And again, this is to no fault of his own. Because when you look at it, okay, and no disrespect to Dev, because again, all he's doing is continue to do the things he's doing, getting better and better each and every fight, and trying to become one of the best fighters that are out there. And he wants the big fights, and no knock on him. But you look at his last fight, okay, when you look at it, and you compare it to Tank's. And we just talking about the live gate. Tank Davis live gate was in upwards 9 times. I repeat, 9 times of what Haney's was in his last fight. I repeat, 9 times. Okay? So what they're gonna just throw Devin in the fight in 4 weeks notice? And oh, by the way, what we gonna do? Sell out an arena? Oh, Tank is doing that any fucking way himself. Okay? And again, I'm gonna say it again. This is to no fault of Haney. They sold, I think it was like 4,900 tickets. Half the house at Mandalay Bay.
Sounds about right. But not bad at 22.
No, and again, but we're talking about this versus
sell out Atlanta pay-per-view, right?
But that's just not only Atlanta. Anywhere he fucking goes,
right?
That kind of fight, it would need a lot of promotion, and that's something. Again, I like to see Devin go. This is a terrific fight, by the way. I think him and the Diaz fight.
Yeah,
that's definitely a start. You got to bring something to the table, though. You got to bring something to the table other than saying I want to fight this guy. We're running a fucking business. We're not in the business to be fucking off money. Okay? We let guys like Eddie Hearn do that. Ask John Skipper about that. You know, the whole DAZN thing was a complete fucking failure as it relates to the boxing part in the United States. You know, it's like, again, he say fucking things that just don't make any fucking sense at all. You know, it's like when you look around and you say, okay, you look at the other guys that are out there, you say, why didn't Haney get a chance to fight Lomo or
Luke Campbell?
Luke Campbell, to raise his profile, to become, you know, to get his name out there. See, because what some of the fans fail to realize is that at the highest level, the sport, and as it relates to generating revenue, is bigger than Twitter. It's bigger than Twitter. I repeat, we want to see all these great matchups. They're great matchups on paper, but the fans, how do you become an attraction? What makes the fans want to see you fight? How do you bring fans to these venues and to these arenas? How? We're working hard as hell with our guy. We're working hard as hell with our guy. And it was something that me and Bruce Trampler from Top Rank, who I have a great deal of respect for, over the weekend, it was some comments that were made. And I think he said it best. You know, like, this is a business. We're all competitors. If there's a good match to be made for both sides, we'll make it. Bob Arum is not going to be in the business of fucking off money just because some trolls want to see this guy fight this guy if the fight is not ready yet. If that fight is not ready yet.
But Wilder Fury, he'll do that.
Yeah, because guess what?
Money was there.
The money was there. It makes sense. What am I gonna do? Overpay Haney and Tank take a pay cut? Does that make any sense? My responsibility, Floyd's responsibility as a promoter, is our fighters come first. I repeat, our fighters come first. I'm always gonna look out for our fighters before anything. That's why we continue to put our guys in the biggest fights possible for the most money. And again, I want to see these other guys as a fan, because I'm a fan of the sport too.
Right.
I'm very, very confident Tank beats Haney, he beats Lopez, and he beats Garcia. If y'all say those are the top guys that are out there, I'm very confident that Tank beats them all.
What about Josh Taylor, who's been talking?
Fuck him too. Tank beat him too. Tank beat him too. But first things first. You know, it's like, at the end of the day, Tank is an attraction for a reason. And then you hear some people say, oh, well, he's 27 years old. What are we comparing that to? We're not comparing Tank to Floyd Mayweather. Two different fighters, different eras, the whole nine.
Mm-hmm.
Tank is doing his thing. You know, and he has a tremendous fan base. These with a younger audience, and they gravitate to him because why? He's the most exciting fighter in the entire world. Okay.
Let me ask you this, Leonard, because like you said, you and Floyd running a business, and we know how you guys run that business successfully. Do you feel like you at some point because I mentioned Eddie is Haney's promoter, but Devin, like Crawford after this Porter fight, is actually a free agent. Would you envision a time where he comes over to Showtime or to PBC and you make that's how that Tank versus Devin Haney fight it actually gets made at some point?
Well, I cannot speak on what Bill and Devin are doing. They're bosses and they have their own company, DHP. Am I saying it right?
Yep.
They have his own. You know, he's his own boss. So they're in a position to make the right decision, the best decisions for them in their future. You know, he had an opportunity. He could have been with Mayweather Promotions. You know, he chose to sign with Eddie Hearn, and I respect that. You know, because he was able to make a lot of money, and I hope he continue to make money. I hope he take him for every fucking dime that he can get. That's just my personal opinion. But as it relates to Tank Davis, we're just trying to put him in the biggest and best fights that are out there. Gervonta Davis wants to fight all the top fighters out there, and that's going to happen because he's not going anywhere. These guys got to continue to win and do their thing, continue to build their profile, and just like Bruce Champlin said, you know, when these fights they make sense for both sides, then that's when you make the fights.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Again, you know, there'll be some criticism out there. There'll be some criticism out there that, oh, well, why? How the hell do you fight a Tio Lopez when he's saying that he's the A side to something? Think about that for a second. How do you do something like that? Bob Aaron's not getting ready to put him in a situation where, again, Bob's getting ready to lose his fucking money. He's not going to do that. And we damn sure ain't getting ready to fuck off nothing over here. We're not in the business. We make smart business decisions over here because we're running a business. I want to see these fights happen. I want to see Tank Davis fight any of these guys that you guys talk about. Because again, I'm very confident he beats them. But you just can't make matches when they don't even make sense.
So just be patient.
Just a little patient. Just a little patient. You can't be out there talking out the side of your fucking head like Hearn. Oh, let me just throw Haney's name in the hat. There is no fucking hat to throw the name into. You fucking idiot. Where you gonna throw the name to? We got Isaac Cruz on the card for a reason. For a reason. For an instance like if something does happen to Rolly.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And he's a tough ass fighter. And there's a lot of fans say that this is a better fight than fighting Rolly. I don't know.
Two different styles.
Two totally different styles. But again, these fights have to make business sense. They just have to make business sense. Because again, we're trying to build our young star and to become the biggest attraction in the entire sport. And right now, you know, this, when you look around, the only fighters that are in front of him is Earl Spence and Canelo.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. And they talking about, oh, well, he's 27 years old. And? He's 27 years old. We're not trying to duplicate anything that any of these other fighters have done. We want to continue to keep him busy and fight the biggest fights that are possible. There's no fault that Haney ain't, you know, became an attraction at the moment. There's no fault of Lopez. Well, they think they're bigger than what they actually are. That you know, he's not an attraction at this point. You know, here it is. He's the same guy that said that, oh, sent Floyd Mayweather a message on Twitter, basically thinking he's moving Floyd Mayweather off a fucking date. Again, just think how dumb all of this shit sounds. You know what I'm saying? And then, you know, I do my due diligence, and I'm like, hold up. It's fight week, and this kid ain't even so fucking, they won, again, and this had nothing to do with Top Rank, because obviously Triller won the purse bid, that, you know, he's in a situation, again, he's really feeling himself, and again, I want to see all the fighters win and make all the money. We happy for him, okay, you know, y'all won the purse bid, Triller comes in, okay, they got you fighting in a 36,000 seat venue, the Marlins Park. They had sold 1,800 fucking tickets, and this is during fight week. But you're the A side to Tank Davis. And this is the same Kambosos, the same guy that you're fighting next week. But the fight is doing 2 million buys. But they're fighting on the zone, and again, what happens there with that, there will be very, very limited visibility. You know, he's fighting on an app that is a platform where that he's not going to have many eyeballs, and he's not going to be able to move that needle. You know what I'm saying? It's like, and again, it's just another example of like, you know, sometimes you're in these situations, and sometimes something looks good, and then it really isn't good, you know. And again, I want to see Devin Haney continue to build his profile. You know, again, it's just like another bad decision over there is that they have fucking Haney fighting on an undercard of a YouTuber. And Devin Haney's a world champion. Some things just don't make sense to me. Okay? You know, but again, he'll be out there running his mouth talking about, oh, you know, Davis won't fight. No, Davis will fight anybody that when it makes sense. And we're going to guide his career in the right way. He's going to fight in the biggest fights. And he wants to fight all these guys. Me and Floyd want to see him fight these guys. But we're not getting ready to lose a bunch of money just to say we doing this.
You guys got to tell us, like, we know, champ, we know, but don't worry, you'll get them. Just we got to stick to this plan. And
the plan is that we're going to continue to stay busy and fight the biggest fights that are possible. But again, is that some of these fights that they're talking about are just not ready just yet. Again, what would Devin Haney want to fight a Tank Davis?
You know, upwards of 5.
Okay, where the fuck is the money coming from? Tank's already gonna sell out the venue if he's fighting you.
Let's not make that fight, please.
Haney has got to continue to do the things he's doing, put on these great performances, make people want to see him outside the little Twitter people.
Right.
The Twitter boxing fans. Outside of that. You know, and continue to build his profile where again, I'm not saying that he's got to go. It's just about building guys into becoming an attraction. And I'm not going to tell promoters how to do their job, because Hearn is a good promoter. He's a good promoter. Aaron's a very good promoter. Bob knows what he's fucking doing. He's saying, "Oh, throw Devin Haney in there in 4 weeks' notice." Didn't you fucking learn your lesson from that with AJ? You so quick to just throw guys in there because you don't give a fuck about their careers. And that was one of the biggest. And we sat back and everybody was laughing at that, because it was just like, oh my God, like, they're getting ready to fight Andy Ruiz. I just sat there and was sitting ringside with Andy just come off of a fight.
Yeah.
And I already know what type of fighter he is. You know what I'm saying?
He fought on the
and again, this is no knock on AJ or nothing like that. It's just like, it's just,